I would like to take a moment and speak with you about the Inspired by Love campaign and to make sure that you all understand where we are. I want to begin in great thanksgiving as the kids come in. Thanksgiving for them, and are they not the greatest? Thanksgiving for all of you who have been inspired by love and have given to the campaigns, the dual campaigns for the annual pledge and also for the endowment and capital campaign. We had a gathering at our house at the rectory on Wednesday, and it was like all of these incredible conversations. And Mary Verdeen, who's new to our congregation and family sitting over here, spoke about where were we with the question of participation. And I will just say that participation, as you know, wins the day for all of these campaigns, that together we can do what we need to do, and without participation we will struggle. So I invite everybody, even if they can only make a small pledge, to enter into that participation for the good of the whole of the body and for the good of the people who give. Now, just a word about the annual pledge campaign and how we finance the ministry at the church. This past week there has been long hours, in particular with Jill and with me, trying to put together budgets with the treasurer David Kalal and Tim Dan, the assistant treasurer, to get some sense of where we are. The year 2022, as we have long known, is going to be a very, very challenging year for us. We have been able to balance the budget of the church for the past 13 years, and next year will have its challenges. In the pre-pandemic days, we raised about $1.5 million in the pledges from the people of the parish. And in this year, we would love to be much more in the $1.65 to the $1.7 million zone. In other words, almost another $200,000. I'm going to speak about that $200,000 in a moment. And so we are grateful for all of you who are making pledges, and grateful for all of you who are doing the best you can to increase. I can tell you that money goes, those resources go like the fuel in the engine of the ministry of the church, the budget of which is about $2.2 million. Now let me just give you an update about the resources in the capital campaign, the endowment campaign. I'm very excited that we have about $1.5 million to go. And I would say really for the first time I can begin to see the finish line after being in the wilderness of the fives for a long time. We've made it to the sixes, and how exciting that is. I would like to respond to some things that I have heard sideways, and one is whether or not I believe in the endowment, or whether or not don't these people just have enough money and they don't need any more, for they have already raised somewhere in the neighborhood of $6 million. As many of you know, when I first started ministry here, I'm in my 13th year, the church had been structurally underfunded for more than a generation and had not balanced its budget during that time. All of you, the people of the parish, during these past years have worked very hard to create a financial foundation for the parish. That $330,000 is now about $6 million. And that $6 million spins off about $234,000 that goes right into financing the ministry that we all know and love and participate in. Without that money coming into the budget, the church would be a very different place. And one or both of the people, oops, only one sitting next to me. What happened to the other one? One there and one there might not be sitting there, and you would be stuck with me only, which is a great reason to keep giving to this. These monies are incredibly important. We have known since 2014 that in order to have the church fully function and not live in the kind of fingernail biting year by year by year, that we need at least $10 million in the endowment. And the reason the capital campaign, the endowment campaign, is asking for $5 million is because essentially the church is structurally underfunded by $200,000 a year. That is 4% of $5 million is $200,000. And so we seek to help correct that underfunding, that structural underfunding. And I remind you that the people who need the church are ever growing. We have grown through the pandemic, and as the great mental health challenges that we all participate in grow, the pastoral needs of all of you, the congregation, are ever growing, and these monies help to make sure that we are staffed as healthy as possible. This is a campaign for all of you. It's not like this money is being raised and just willy-nilly for nothing. Part of what we seek to do as a body of Christ is to love one another as Christ has loved us. And part of that, if we are going to be organized in a large body, is to have the infrastructure needed to set the body free to love and to show up for you when you are in need. There is not one person that I know whose life is not a mess. Some people's lives are in terrible crisis, and some people live in a perpetual minor crisis that we all live in as our world is so unstable. We have a charism from God. We are an inspired congregation. It is a great gift that we have this life of love in New Canaan in a fragile and broken world. And the people who give report to me over and over and over the truth of what Jesus said: it is more blessed to give than receive. For those who give of their resources feel a tremendous spiritual benefit. For we invite all of you to know that if and when you give, you experience a greater communion with one another and a greater empowerment. The monies that you give are able to do things that on your own you are not able to do. We are not all able to show up at the bedside of a dying person. We are not all able to know that somebody can't afford to pay heating fuel. We're not all able to know all of the things that the ministry does. And these monies have a tremendous return on capital, to quote Brian Hetherington. This is real, just like Luke laid out the names of people. If we were to tell the story of St. Mark's in a way that could be heard, it would be fascinating if the three clergy sat down and wrote a prologue, not just like I did. You have to tell Kevin Moynihan that he made my sermon, by the way, with the names. But the people who are cared for by the life of the parish are some of the people who are sitting next to you. And some of you know the particular truth of this because we are currently paying your heating bill. I'm telling you, this money matters, and it is used for blessed and holy things. So I just finished to say how grateful I am, and I speak for the parish, for your generosity of spirit. And just to frame it all, the Eucharistic prayer that Reverend Elizabeth is about to say is the great thanksgiving. And so we all live in a great thanksgiving that comes around this table. We all come to this table with our hands open in need for the Lord. Now walk in love as Christ has loved us and given himself an offering and sacrifice to God.